You know that phrase you tell yourself right before you buy something you weren't planning to buy? It's fine, it's just this once. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You've probably said that sentence more times this year than you can even remember. And each time, it felt like a harmless, isolated decision. But what if I told you just this once isn't actually a one-time event at all? What if it's a pattern so consistent that financial researchers can practically predict it, and it might be quietly costing you more than your rent? My name is David, and I spend way too much time thinking about money and about the sneaky little decisions that separate people who build wealth from people who stay stuck wondering where all their money went. This video is going to make you a little uncomfortable. Hit subscribe and let's get into it.
Most people think their finances get wrecked by one or two big mistakes: a bad car loan, an expensive vacation, impulsive investment gone wrong. And sure, those things hurt. But here's what financial researchers have found again and again. The average person's biggest wealth killer isn't one dramatic decision. It's dozens of small, just this once purchases that never show up as a single line item anywhere because your brain refuses to count them as related. Just this once works because your brain evaluates each purchase in isolation. When you're standing in line buying a $40 pair of sunglasses you don't need, your brain isn't comparing it to the other four just this once purchases you made this month. It's only comparing it to nothing, to the alternative of not having cool sunglasses right now. This is called isolation bias, and it's one of the most well-documented blind spots in behavioral economics. Every single just this once purchase gets evaluated completely on its own, disconnected from every other one before it, which means your brain never adds them up. You do.
Let's actually do that math your brain refuses to do. Say you make just one just this once purchase a week. A takeout meal you didn't plan for, a subscription you forgot to cancel, an impulse buy on your phone at 11 p.m. Let's put that at a modest $35 average. That's $35 a week, $140 a month, $1,820 a year. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. If you took that same $1,820 a year and invested it instead, at an 8% annual return, over 20 years, that becomes roughly $90,000. Over 30 years, it's closer to $220,000. That just this once phrase, repeated weekly, is quietly costing you a small house down payment over the course of your working life. And here's the part that really stings. Most people who do this don't even remember most of these purchases 6 months later. You'll remember the vacation you saved for. You will not remember the $12 lunch delivery fee from a random Tuesday in March. The purchases that add up the most are precisely the ones your brain is designed to forget.
Just this once specifically frames the purchase as an exception, not a pattern. And your brain is really bad at tracking exceptions. That's actually the whole function of the phrase. It's not lying to you maliciously. It genuinely believes in that moment that this is a one-off. The problem is that just this once isn't a sentence you say one time. It's a sentence you say every time you want permission to override your own budget, which means, functionally, it's not an exception at all. It's a rule. It's just a rule that's designed to feel like it isn't one. Psychologists call this the moral licensing effect in some contexts. When you've been disciplined recently, your brain rewards you by giving yourself permission to break the rule just this once. Here's a version of this most people recognize immediately: the subscription graveyard. That streaming service you signed up for just this once to watch one show. That app subscription you activated for a free trial and forgot about. Studies on subscription spending have found the average person is paying for 2 to 3 subscriptions monthly that they've completely forgotten exist. Each one individually looks harmless: $9.99, $14.99, practically invisible on a bank statement. Combined, they can easily run $50 to $100 a month, every month, for years, without a single new decision ever being made. That's the just this once trap in its purest form. A decision made once that quietly repeats itself forever.
Here's what separates people who avoid this trap from people who fall into it repeatedly. They don't rely on willpower to resist just this once purchases in the moment. They change the moment itself. Instead of deciding whether to buy something the second they want it, they build in a delay, a 24-hour rule, a weekly fun money budget that's already been decided in advance. This does something clever. It removes the decision from the emotional, impulsive moment and moves it to a calmer, more rational one. You're not fighting your brain in real time. You're not fighting it at all. You already made the decision last week, calmly, with a clear head. Now, to be clear, this isn't about never buying anything spontaneous again. Life without any flexibility is exhausting, and nobody sticks to that long term. The goal isn't zero just this once purchases. It's awareness. Even just tracking them for 1 month, writing down every single just this once purchase you make is often enough to cut them by a third, simply because your brain can no longer pretend they're isolated events once you can see them lined up on paper. So, next time you catch yourself about to say, "It's fine, it's just this once," pause for 1 second and ask yourself honestly, is this actually the first time you've said that this month? For most people, the answer is no. And that gap between what feels like a one-time decision and what's actually a repeating pattern is exactly where your future wealth quietly disappears, one small purchase at a time.